All right, hello Lions, hello leaders. Today we're going to talk about the necessity of management or leadership. So, a couple of ideas. If you're in a titled manager position, as in your title is manager, your role is to manage or lead a team or people, or you are in charge or responsible of people. I want to widen up this definition because it's not just in business, okay? It could be an organization. It could be a peer group. It could even be parents. You are tasked with the responsibility of leading and assigning duties and keeping track of other people. In other words, there are things that need to be done or things that need to happen, and if other people don't do those things, ultimately you're responsible to do them. If any of that is true, you're a manager, you're a leader, you're in charge in some capacity. But I want to talk about the necessity of it, and specifically, why do managers exist? Why do leaders exist in the first place? Like, what's the even point? If you've been given this as a title at work, if you've been given the role of parent, why does that role exist? And it comes down to a simple idea. It exists because the people that you manage or lead will not do the things you're asking or expecting them to do on their own. I want to say that again. If your title is a manager or leader, the reason you exist in that role is because the people you lead or manage will not do the things that they are expected to do on their own. If they did, they wouldn't need a manager. If all of your people on your team just suddenly took action and accomplished all the performance, all the expectations, all the duties, all the roles, all the planning, all the events that they're supposed to do on their own, there would be no point for you to exist in a manager role. And what's weird about this is that the ideal goal, the final goal of management, is to make yourself obsolete, is to make your team self-sustaining so that you aren't necessary. So, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. It's two sides of one coin. If you win, then you disappear. But if you lose, you're still necessary. So, failed leaders and failed teams create job security for the current or future managers. As long as a team is not performing excellently or perfectly, then the leader or manager is still necessary. So you have to keep in mind you're working towards a goal that eliminates your role, but you're probably never going to achieve that. So that's kind of the idea behind, if you think about it, is my team performing? The answer is probably no in some area, which means it is your job and your necessity to fix that so that your team starts performing. I mean, really, really simple idea. It's not complicated, but I think sometimes as leaders and managers, we forget. It's like we come in and we see our team not performing and we see them not meeting expectations and we get frustrated and we're like, oh my God, my team sucks. They're just not doing what I need, blah, blah, blah. It's like, that's what being a leader and a manager is. If they were performing, you wouldn't be necessary. So make sure you understand that if you're in that position, your team not performing is status quo. It's standard operating procedure. They're not going to perform unless you lead them to perform. That's why you're in the role. Parents exist for a long time because the kids aren't self-sufficient. And if the kid is fully self-sufficient and doesn't need the parent, the relationship changes. Okay? As soon as the team performs on its own, the company kind of looks at the boss and is like, well, we need you somewhere else. This team kind of has it, and I don't really know that you're doing much and adding much value because the team's performing on their own, so let's move you somewhere else. And it's ironic because as a manager, the place you want to get is your team performing well all the time. And if that happens, they're going to move you to a team that completely sucks and needs a lot of management and help. They're going to give you another opportunity to be a leader. The job is never done. And that's what you need to understand. If you want to be in this position, if you want to be a manager or leader, you have to embrace the reality that your team not performing creates your existence. It justifies your existence. That's a good thing. It means there's work to be done. As long as things aren't perfect, you're still necessary. So love it, embrace it. And when there's chaos all around you, thank you, Lord, for that. Thank you for justifying my existence. Thank you for my team not doing their job, because I get to go work with them. I get to help them. I get to teach them. I get to hold people. Like, that's wonderful. I get to be a manager. Because if they were doing everything right, I don't need to be here anymore. So, think about it. Think about your team. Reframe the narrative around all the problems around you. And love what you do, because you are necessary. Managers and leaders are still necessary in the world, because there will always be people who don't get it and need help and need led and need taught, need shown, need loved. That's your job. Get after it.